Rick Bowness. And Rick, I was just asking JB if it's been a tremendous year so far. You're challenging in the Central and the West, but it is coming off a 4-1 loss. So are we in a good mood right now, or?
Never in a good mood after a game like last night. And it's really, sometimes it's not about the score. It's just about how you play. And it was that's one of the worst games we played in a while. And as I mentioned after the game, there's very few games this year after 45 games that we walked out of a rink and said, well, we certainly did not deserve to win that. But that was certainly the case last night. So the 4-1, yeah, we had some really good looks to tighten it up, but we did not deserve to win that game. Our play with and without the puck was very, very sloppy.
Just in terms of the things that have gone right so far, and obviously what didn't show up last night, but what are one or two things that have really stood out for you on what you've seen out of your team in the first 40-plus games?
Well, we went through all those injuries, and I gave and still do. I give the players that were stepped into those roles and accept not their usual role on the team, and what a great job they did. So we were very, very resilient through all of that. We've got some tremendous seasons individually so far. Obviously, with Connor Hellebuck in the net, he is elite goaltending that gives you a chance to win every night. Josh Morrissey, I know there's been a lot that's talked about his play. He's putting up the points, but he's also playing against the top-end players every night. So he's been outstanding. Kyle Connor, he's going to score goals. The two-way play of JP Dubois has been outstanding for us. He's strong at both ends of the ice. He's putting up numbers offensively, obviously, but we can run him head-to-head against anybody in the league. So very pleased with that. Mark Scheifele, of course, as you know, with 26 goals, he can put the puck in the net. So we have gotten some big individual performances from the guys that you view as difference makers in the outcome of a game, but never to be forgotten are those guys that filled in those roles through all those injuries and did an outstanding job for us.
Rick, in the past, when the Winnipeg Jets have been a good defensive team, it has been largely on the back of Hellebuck. He's been fantastic, but I'm one of those nerds who looks at the numbers, and your team is very good defensively all around in terms of giving up, not as many chances as a group. That to me seems like a team buy-in thing. How do you convince a team that has always scored quite a bit to be on the right side of the puck and maybe not think about the offense first?
Well, one of the first calls I made when I got the job was to Connor Hellebuck, and I told him, listen, we're going to make your life a lot easier next year. We're going to do everything we can to tighten up the play in front of you. I know last year they gave up a ton of grade A's, and we've cut back on those a lot. I still think there's times where even last night we gave up a lot more than we normally do because we didn't do what we were supposed to do defensively in front of them. But we have cut down on the grade A's now. We're giving up a few too many shots on the outside for my liking, but a lot of that has to do with poor puck management. So that goes back to they just got so accustomed last year to going chance for chance. And, relying on Connor to make the difference in the game and capitalizing on the opportunities that they had. So a lot of the chances that they are getting, both on the rush and gaining access to our zone, are just poor puck management on our part. But we have made a concerted effort from training camp on to cut down on those grade A's in front of them and do a much better job of coming back and working from the inside out. Now, last night will show you that it's obviously still a work in progress. For the most part, it's been very, very good. When we've been bad like we were last night, then we're giving up those chances that they were giving up last year, which makes we're sleepless nights for coaches. But for the most part, we're very, very happy where we are. But again, last night shows you that we still are a work in progress, and we still have to do a better job to cut down those chances on a consistent night-to-night basis.
We're talking to Rick Bowness, head coach of the Winnipeg Jets. Not easy, even for a veteran like you, to come in and really replace a guy like Paul Maurice, who was very beloved in that community and amongst the players and had such longevity there. But maybe you can speak, Rick, a little bit too on how the dynamic has worked with yourself, Scott Arniel, Brad Lauer, Marty Johnston's there as well. My understanding, from what I gather and talking to maybe a few players, is that Scott can maybe focus maybe a little bit more on the X and O's, and you from 20,000 feet above can maybe manage a few personalities or, in the motivational, but how has it worked out overall, and that's really led to great success?
Well, the coaches that you mentioned, Scotty, Brad, Marty, and Wade Flaherty, that has been here for a long time. Just they do an outstanding job, and you let them do their thing. They're great coaches, and they're good communicators, which is a very important part of coaching in our league today. We knew we had a lot of work to do coming in, both on the specialty teams, which Scott runs, and the power play, which Brad and Marty run. So there was a lot of work to be done. There was also the culture that we had to change. So that takes a lot of work, and that does take a lot of one-on-one time. And again, it's a continual work in progress. So, it's worked. It's a great staff. I'm thrilled with the guys that came in to help me out here. And we do work very, very closely. It's a very tight-knit group, and we work very closely on all aspects of the game. And I certainly give them a lot of rein to do their thing because I have full trust in them.
Would the Jets or the Jets fans put any more stock into a game against the Leafs? Is it fair to call it a rivalry, even though it's not in division?
Well, again, I missed that Canadian division this season.
Right.
I was down in Dallas, and I think right now it's listen, they're tops and they're near the top in their division and conference, and so are we. So it's really a battle of two very, very good teams. They played better than we did, obviously, last night. So it's going to be up to us to rebound and play Winnipeg Jets style of hockey that's gotten us to this point this year. But tomorrow night should be a very entertaining hockey game. They can score, we can score, and I think both sides of the teams would like to tighten up that 4 goals against.